Hello and welcome back to Making Art in My Garage Late at Night, episode 46 maybe. My calendar thing did not work. Anyways, I neglected to mention a few days ago that when I was rooting around in my stuff, I found this little bolt of canvas. And it's primed canvas, which means it's got the gesso already on there, probably applied professionally by some kind of machine. So it's nice and ready, good to go. Don't have to do anything to it, which is excellent because it looks like we've got about, I'd say 3 or 4 yards here, something like 12 to 15 feet. I think. I don't know. It's just it's a non-educated guess. It's just a regular guess. And let's see. Anyways, yesterday I said that we were going to draw a little miniature. And so why not? Let's warm up with that. And I really want to do another one of those skulls with the ink. The one that turned out with the little bit weird with the mustache, because I really like how it looks. It just, I kind of messed it up inadvertently, but from watching it back, I think I know what not to do. When I was doing the nose, when I was going on the underneath part, I guess I pressed a little bit too much and just a little bit too much ink came out. So I know now to just go easy around the nose area, you know? Everything else will be fine. Alright, so to pick which little miniature I'll be using, a little sneak peek at the state of my workshop over here. Alright, there's the little guys. Let's get a little focus on them. Even it out a bit. And let's zoom. That's not good. I just want to show you the process of how we choose. Because I was thinking about it, and if I just reach my hand over and grab one out of a pile, I'm going to be able to feel what it looks like. You know? So I'm going to eliminate that by putting them into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 piles. I have my little bag of dice here, and this is what I use for my character generation stuff. These are my favorite dice that I have in my little collection, and a nice coin for 50-50 stuff. This one's pretty cool. It's like a body part die. So here's a couple 6-sided. We'll use the casino one. So I only have to roll 2 dice. I roll 1 for the initial 6, and then I have to roll another 1 through 5. To go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along the road. And I was looking at this guy. I think he might. I don't know if. I know that Warhammer 40K released an epic line, which is their ultra small miniatures, but this looks like a great unclean one, but at epic scale. I don't know. Alright. So, let's go. 1. Alright, we're working with this pile here. We're working with these guys right here. The first batch. Let's see. Who do we got? Man, look at the zoom on this thing. Alright. So we got my favorite. I don't know why it does that. Alright. We got my favorite Executioner Man. A couple historic looking minis. And then 2 fantasy guys. Alright, let's go. Come on, Snake Eyes. 5. This is him. Alright, we got this Conan looking guy from 1981, I think. This is our winner. See if we can. That's his backside. That's his front side. Got a cool shield. So this is the guy we'll be working with today. All right, here he is, my little guy. Pose is not bad. I wasn't so sure about it at first, but now I'm thinking, you know what? It's not so bad. The miniature itself, the detail leaves a bit to be desired, but that's besides the point. All right. I'm going to start off by giving myself a bit of boundaries here, because I often need those boundaries and then it just turns into a mess. So just get the general shape of this character here, the way that his entire body is going to fill the space. Shield is actually quite big. I don't know how big I'll make his head. My heads on my guys always start out pretty big, but then I like make them smaller. Sometimes they stay big. I don't know. No big deal. Just trying to keep it. I don't know what I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to just get it down on paper as far as I can tell. I want to make him a little bit more, I don't know, Neanderthal-y. He already is like a Neanderthal, but I wanted to maybe give him even more hunched posture. He's got some rippling muscles. Gonna have big old trapezius, whatever the rib muscles are called, the old abs. And it looks like he has a pretty big belt buckle-y thing riding up into his abs. He's wearing a belt, which is holding his little skirt up, which, to be honest, looks like a grass skirt. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a fantasy or a historic miniature. I'm guessing fantasy, just because that's what I'm guessing. Skirt, knee, beautiful muscles here, shapely calves, go down into the lovely foot area. Feet looking alright like that. Alright, calf muscle number 2. Just want to make sure. When I'm drawing at this scale, I constantly have to check that I'm drawing stuff correctly, because when if I don't step back, then I inevitably draw something completely the wrong size because I'm drawing it just from over here. That is a mini skirt right there. Alright, let's get some serious muscles on there. Some Arnold Schwarzenegger style muscles. Yeah. I'm not even going to try to mimic this guy's face because I don't know what's going on here. Like I said, the sculpt is not the greatest. The face, he looks like he's been in a lot of fist fights. His eyes look swollen. He looks kind of like he's smiling. It's a very odd facial expression. He's wearing a necklace, which I'm going to interpret as, I think it has skulls on it, but I can clearly see a square-ish piece and then 3 things on either side before it disappears under his hair. He has a beautiful, almost bowl cut, which is nice. Everyone appreciates a good bowl cut. I had a bowl cut in 6th grade. It wasn't literally made with a bowl, but it could have been. It looked pretty bowly, which is interesting because my hair is pretty wavy and curly right now, but all through elementary school, now that I'm thinking of it, it was pretty straight. So it's weird. How many other people out there, how many times has your hair changed in your life? I'm curious about that kind of stuff. It's interesting what the human body does going through life. For example, something that I've always found fascinating is when people go through an incredibly stressful episode in their life, they'll sometimes, part of their hair becomes gray in a certain area. They'll just grow gray hair, like an X-Man or an X-Woman. Is it Rogue? I always thought that was pretty fascinating, that stress or something or whatever could just make your hair go just gray in one area. And it looks cool as hell. I'm sure the people who have that don't think it's that cool, but who knows. Alright, now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got 8 little, what are they called? They're like these round things that go around the shield. Motif. I can't seem to... I'm drawing with a Pentalic woodless pencil from West Germany. Jesus, how old is this thing? I think this might be one of the art supplies that I stole when I was in high school from the art supply cabinet. When the teacher was away, I would just go through all the different cabinets and drawers and just pocket whatever I could. Because that's what I did. Sorry, Ramona High School. Alright, center of the shield has a face on it. And that face is pretty grumpy. He's got, looks like a grumpy volleyball. He's got these cheek parts. He's got an open mouth with what looks like some teeth. I'm just going to give him a bottom row too. This guy drops a little further. And then he's got like this big thick eyebrow, eyes, and nose. And I think he's got lips going around the mouth. But that's basically the shield. Pretty cool. Actually, the shield is pretty cool. And then in his right arm, he wields, he's got a little armband too. The way that his hand is positioned is actually quite good. At this nice angle. The sculptor did a good job there. It's funny that I'm standing here criticizing this sculpture when I don't think I could sculpt anything better than this. And I've tried sculpting minis, and I gave up. I did like these 2 small figures. I called them Tyrannid hunters. They had the Tyrannid armor They were basically like scouts, but with Tyranid, like carapace attached to their armor. I thought it was a cool idea when I was in high school. But I never finished them. When I start going through my Warhammer stuff and I dig them out, I'll show you guys. Some of the greatest parts about Warhammer is just being able to make your own stuff with it. Taking apart figures, gluing them back together, sculpting your own things. I'm going to use a ruler. So, the sword's actually not that long. By video game standards, I guess. By normal human standards, it's a good length. Alright, this thing is a little bent. Getting that out here. Whoop. That looks fine. You'll hear me using that word a lot. It's fine. It looks fine. It's okay. Not good, it's not great, it's fine. Alright, let's take a step back and look. Okay. Now, head. Give him a big square jaw. He's a tough boy. Goes around fighting. Kicking ass, solid nose, heavy brow ridge. Alright, and he's got metal hair, short bangs. I'm not great at drawing hair, by the way. I can add that to my list of things I need to improve upon. Composition, hair, other things. Shit, anatomy too, by the looks of it. I haven't drawn anything with the skin on for a long time. Probably start doing that a bit more. This skirt, though, it just looks like a grass skirt. I'd much prefer it if it was leather or something, but it just looks like... Here, I'll show you. See if we can get a little... Come on, focus. Alright, see that? It has this grassy texture. I don't know what to do with that. What am I putting him down for? I need to see what his little belt buckle is. Can't see what his belt buckle is. I'm gonna assume it's just another skull. Like his necklace. This man's a killer. It was basically Conan. I'll just say for the sake of argument that it's Conan. Or someone like him. Jonan. Slowhand the Barbarian. He's got a little bracer kind of thing there. And the sword, it's just a one-handed sword. It's a very short little hilt. It's just like that. Oh, he has boots on, which, that's alright. It's gonna make his legs look absolutely gigantic, and they are right under his knees. They're like those typical adventurer boots that you would imagine with the fold in them, like that. And we'll just assume that they have a bit of a heel and a bit of a sole to them. Damn, this boy's got big feet. Alright, I'm happy with pretty much everything except for the skirt. What the hell does Conan wear? He just wears like a loincloth. I think that's just random, stitched together, made from some kind of dead animals. He's probably got some little underwear under there, and it just sticks out the top here. Barely got any abs showing. Alright, sweet. Now I got the pencils done. That's exactly what the miniature looks like, believe me. Now we'll go back to my favorite brush pen. But I'm going to put on a glove because my hand is going to smear everything probably. Well, the glove will too, but I just feel cool wearing the glove. Alright. Just because of the nature of the graphite it reflects, I need to figure out a way to do my lighting a bit better. For those of you that don't know, these pens, this part is squishy, so when the tip gets a little dry, you can just squish the ink into it. It's pretty sweet. Alright, he's a beefcakey type of dude. He's got a big jaw, big butt chin. He's a lady killer. He murders all the ladies, all the men. Doesn't take any hostages. How could you with hair like this? Anyone who has some tips about hair, or how to make it look not like shit, please let me know. His hair here is just, it's wild, it's blowing in the wind, but it's not great. I like to imagine that on the battlefield, some people try to make fun of his hair to lower his morale, and he just slices them in half. Doesn't care, not one care. Alright. So he's got his big old muscles. Let's do this necklace here real quick. Maybe it's some kind of amulet that gives him some powers, or maybe it's a cursed amulet. It's always fun to come up with different lore for your characters. I actually have a file in my notes where I write down different character names for if I ever want to do a graphic novel or run a D&D campaign. I have ready names of characters that I could use, or names of places. Basically, anytime I come up with a name that I think is funny or cool, I just write it down. Muscles, big rippling triceps here. Little armband goes around the entire arm. Maybe that armband just keeps his arm in check when he's in trouble. That's when he rips it off and then his arm can expand to full power. Right now he's only just toying with people. What's this thing called? The pommel? Apparently, back in medieval times, there was a sword technique where you could turn your sword around, you grab it by the blade, and you beat the living Christ out of somebody with the pommel. And also, some of them were made to come off, so you could unscrew it and then just bash somebody with a pommel. The reason for pommels, if any of you don't know, is to act as a counterweight to the sword. So it's not just decorative, it has a distinct purpose. That arm is alright. Went ham on the thickness of the line. Gotta balance it out a little bit there. Alright. We got a little loincloth. Abs. So good. So far so alright. Let's get on with the shield. I'm just gonna do a basic outline now, and then I'll go in and get some more fine details. As I draw this, I'm getting a little more used to holding the pen the proper way. Alright, so these 8 discs, I like to imagine that they have some kind of significant purpose too. As if he's going around and collecting something that fits into these 8 areas. If you collect all the Dragon Balls, you get to make a wish, or maybe that's like you collect all the 8 pieces and then the face in the middle wakes up and it grants you a wish. Or maybe it kills you, who knows. This Barbarian, he seems like the guy who's willing to take that kind of risk. Not worried about this thing potentially trying to end him. Because in his mind, he'll just break the shield. He doesn't know that there's a powerful god dwelling inside. I'm going to add a chin. I think a chin is good. Alright. Alright, cheeks, shield. Pretty good. Alright, let's do the little belt here. A frowny skull. I don't think this guy is a good guy. Too much bad energy. He's pretty handy though. He sewed his own skirt. Alright. Doing well. If you weren't wearing underwear with this getup, your junk would definitely fly out in a fight. Just start whipping people in the face. Great part about drawing on newsprint though is that on canvas, it pretty much soaks in ink instantaneously. So I can be drawing these lines and then going over it with my finger and not having to worry so much about smudging the ink because it's already soaked in. Let's see how that's looking. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I could see this guy being in a cartoon. Soles of his shoes are pretty thick. He's got a little bit of a heel on there. See his toe, you can see his little wrinkle spot there. Well, can't get too carried away with details. Like I said, I'll come back at him later. He's got exceptionally smooth legs. I don't think he shaves them. The hair just flies off in the heat of battle because of the friction of, I don't know, him fighting dudes. Alright, feet are going on the list of things I need to improve upon. They're okay, but they could 100% be a lot better. This is a set feet. Now that that's in, I think with newsprint, it's kind of hard to erase because you're really risking just ripping it or wrinkling it. So I'm just going to lightly go over certain areas to lighten up just parts of it without being too crazy about getting all the ink. All the pencil. I think I discussed this before, but leaving some pencil or just leaving all of the pencil when you are inking can give the drawing a nice amount of depth, which is very helpful if you want your drawing to be quite detailed. It already adds a layer of shading. I'm just going to get rid of the lines that don't facilitate the flow of the ink pattern. Basically the lines that we didn't use too much. And then use this opportunity to highlight certain areas, like getting rid of the leg in the sword. That's nice. Getting rid of the leg inside of the pants. That's good. That way, or sorry, not the pants, the boots. That way the boots will have a more full and authoritative appearance. Alright. And I like to get rid of any really straight lines, because I feel like they mess with the organic image that I'm trying to cultivate here with this Barbarian man. Outline, that stays, that's fine. That just helps me understand where my boundaries are. But like stuff within this little mini skirt here, his original little mini grass skirt there. Get rid of that. And get rid of some of the lines in the hair there. There we go. Alright, what do we think of that? Pretty alright? Not alright? Let me know in the comments what you think so far. Now I'd like to go in and do some heavier shading. And to do that, I would like to think that I have something here that could do that for me. Gotta get certain details in. Necklace. Oh, that just ends. Alright. Deedle-dee-dee. The shadow. So the light will just be coming from straight up top. We'll just give him a nice little neck shadow there. I think that when this dries it will become less shiny, but right now it's a little shiny, this stuff. This is one of my favorite paint pens. It's a Crink permanent ink marker. It's very nice. This is one of those markers that I wish I had another one of. I only got one of these. I don't know what it is. The ink, it's just nice. Boot shadow, sword shadow, oh, shadow there. A little shadow here. That's the heavy shadows blocked in. Now I'm just going to go in and do some more fine detail work, but not going to get too caught up on making it like perfect or whatever. I'm just going to do some rough details. Because after all, it is just a sketch. It's just on newsprint. It's not a big deal. I do like the idea of adding a bit of cross-hatching. Well, not even cross-hatching, just a little bit of line shading. Little cracks in it, little divots, nipple. Little crack in this thing. Oh, he's coming out. He's coming to full power or whatever. Would have been good to put some little bicep veins. These pens, they're perfect for this kind of shading because it leaves these perfect triangle lines kind of thing. Quite nice. Alright, Mad Skull. Let's try to figure out a cooler way to get this going. Add some teeth, sure. Add some little pock marks, a little crack here, a little crack here. It's just cracked all over the place. Where's he getting his gear? It's just all cracked. Just kidding, he's just fighting in it. That's why it's breaking. And then if he needs new gear, he'll just kill somebody for it. Oh man, somebody inquired about some of the art that I made on the channel so far. And I don't know if they were just joking that they wanted to buy it, but I quoted them a price, so we'll see. Always happy to sell my art. If I could get to a point where I could quit one of my day jobs and just like art instead, that would be a dream right there. You know, day job and being able to go back and dedicate more time like I used to before the Rugrats. But yeah, it'll be awesome. So thank you to anyone who wants to buy my stuff, and thank you to the person who reached out. I really appreciate that. Alright, we gotta put some little dings and scratches in the sword. Maybe even some like fractures. They're not good. He's gonna be swinging, he's gonna be blocking. It's gonna crack one of these days. Then he's gonna have to get a new sword, but that's not a problem. Like I said, he'll just murder somebody for the new gear. He does not care. Look at this guy, he's unstoppable. Barbarian man. I think it would be easy to go a little overboard on the shading, but I'm just gonna try and go as quick and loose as I can so I don't get too away. I want it to look good. I just want it to get out of hand and then the whole thing to where it just looks like can't even tell what's going on because of all the shading, which can happen. You've seen it happen on the channel already. Okay, I guess I'm saving the best for last, which is the shield. I really do like the shield. And I like the little bit of lore that we've created for it with the pieces that he has to find. He has to just destroy 8 heroes guarding these pieces, and he's coming for them. Are there any video games where you play explicitly as a bad guy? I know that there's like always moral choices or whatever, but is there just like any video games where you're just like, nope, you're just the bad guy? Oh, I think that there's an RPG I think called Tyranny where you're just the bad guy, which I own but I have not played. that is true for a lot of games. I own many games on Steam and Good Old Games, which I have not played yet. So the actual dream is to get enough, get enough sales from the art that I spend my time making art, and then the time that I don't spend making art, I just play video games. That's the dream. I'm sure that's the dream for so many people. So, help make my dreams come true by watching my videos. Thank you. Alright, boot the shield. Here we go. Come on, ink. Ooh! I leaked a little bit. How many of you watching have ever wanted to write or draw a comic and then sat down to write or draw said comic and then been like, shoot, maybe I need to just focus on one thing, the writing or the art? And if you were the writer, you were thinking, where am I going to find an illustrator? And if you were the illustrator, you were thinking, shoot, where am I going to find the writer? Well, I'll tell you what, I had both of these dreams, and I was in these works on a collaborative comic with my good friend Noah, who had written this kick-ass story. I think he's still writing it, to be honest. But then the kids came along and then life got real serious and we weren't able to bring it to fruition. But I think we might still go back and do it. But I guess my point is that I think a lot of people want to write or illustrate a graphic novel, and I would love to do that, but it's just, you need the time. Time is such a precious commodity. It's so precious. Alright, I think I'm getting into crazy town territory with the shading. I think I'm going a little ham sandwich. What do you think? Let me know. Let's see, let's make this shield, the edge is a little bit beaten up, and the shield face itself, I'm going to fill in these lines here. I don't want to put eyes in the shield. I don't want to, because I think it'll make it too vulnerable looking. It looks really powerful and omnipotent when it doesn't have pupils. When I was younger, I drew pretty much all my characters without pupils or irises, but it wasn't for that reason. It was for the reason that I just was too scared to draw them because I thought they would just come out terrible. Alright, another thing that will really make drawings pop is if you give them a nice solid outline. It makes everything join together, creates a nice harmonious look to everything. And especially if that line is of a similar line weight all the way around, that really helps. Like as you can see over on the arms, I don't have a very heavy line, but on the legs it's a very heavy line, and it balances out when I bring that thick line all the way around to everything. It gives it a nice uniformity, pops off the page a little. So if you have an RPG or whatever, or any kind of thing, feel free to use this guy in your whatchamacallits, in your campaigns. Let me step back a minute. You know what? I'm pretty happy with this guy. Pretty happy. With a little bit of blue tack here. Alright, so this is the miniature that we took inspiration from. And here is the final product. I don't know if I could side by side them because the focus doesn't work. Alright, pretty sweet. Pretty good. Alright, well, let's sign it, and then we can roll it up and throw it away. I just gotta sign stuff so I can practice my signature. Alright, thank you for joining me tonight in my garage, in my humble abode. This was a good little exercise. I think that it's actually quite fun to draw these little miniatures, and I hope it's fun for you to watch. I like the process of picking them too, because you never know what you're going to get. We could have just as easily got one of the civilians, which at first glance, it sounds like it might suck. But you never know. I think even a historic figure or a civilian, there's real interesting stuff and there's fun to be found in the mundane. You just have to use your imagination. Maybe the bartender is a secret assassin and he poisons his beverages, and that's how he makes a little bit of money on the side. Maybe this guy with the little scimitar and the little fez on top of a turban, maybe secretly he's a flasher. I can't think of anything cool. Maybe he's got something under his hat, like Voldemort in the first movie. He's got a face under the turban. And now that I'm looking at him, I'm not so sure that his I think his sword was supposed to be curved, but it looks kind of like a boomerang right there. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. It's getting late. I will think of, well, no, I don't have to think of what I'm going to do tomorrow. It could be anything. And for example, I almost backed out of this. I was going to be like, oh, maybe I don't feel like drawing a miniature today. Maybe I'll do something else. But you know what? It turned out pretty good. I'm very happy with it. So thank you for sticking around. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your views. And thank you. I will see you tomorrow. How interesting. I'm learning so much.